Brigman, and I apologize for the chaos that ensued last night as I tried to record the liver cleanse diet and protocols. So I'm going to try again today, and that way we can eliminate all the drama that was going on with technology. So I am Dana Brigman. My business is the well-oiled canine. It is a function of my training business called the Canine Coach. So that's why you sometimes see this logo, and I just don't want people to be confused. Tonight, in our discussions, I will be talking about a number of products that we want to introduce you to and you would need as part of supplementation and support for this liver cleanse and the detox protocols. And they are affiliate links, meaning if you purchase using those links, I earn a small commission. And it's required for me to tell you that. So just heads up. And you can find all the things that we're talking about on my link tree. And it's Linktree. It's linktr.ee/well-oiled-canine. I also need to tell you that I am not a veterinarian and that the things we are talking about are educational. And I am not here to diagnose, treat, or attempt to cure any disease. I am here as an educator. I hold certifications in canine nutrition, homeopathy, essential oils, aka aromatherapy, specializing in animals. I am also specializing in herbs, Reiki master, and a whole bunch of other things. So just FYI on credentials. So I'll also share that this is a live stream. So while you may be watching it live on Facebook and can post questions, I can't see those questions real time. So post your questions as you go or after the event, and I will follow up with any questions that arise after I have shut down the live event. So having said all of that, today we're going to be talking about the liver cleanse protocols that I like to introduce my clients to in the spring and the fall. So why those two periods of time? If you follow me or go read information on my website that talks about traditional Chinese medicine, the season of liver is in spring. It is actually the season of wood. And the liver and the gallbladder are in their primary states when we are in the season of wood. And so going into that season, according to Chinese medicine, it's just good practice to help support and give the liver a little extra care. Spring is also that time that we are gearing up to move into the summer months. And we know in the summer, we're all pulling out potentially harsh chemicals. I say we're all pulling them out. I'm not. Most of you aren't. Some of you are. When you pull out your flea and tick medications and you get your heartworm preventatives going if you're on an alternate schedule. You or your neighbors or both are probably putting out fertilizers and chemicals in your yard. The mosquito man flies through your neighborhood and is spraying those chemicals into the environment. So no matter how clean we attempt to have non-toxic households, we're exposed. We're all exposed all the time. And so because we're exposed all summer long, then coming out of that season is another good time to detox the liver, show it a little love. So why do we talk about the liver so much? It is a very important waste management organ in our bodies. We only get one of them. They can regenerate themselves, but we often do not know that the liver is struggling until we start to see elevated liver enzymes, or we're in some sort of ailment condition, right? We also know that the liver can be 75% damaged before we see evidence of that. So it works really hard. It will hide a lot of things, and then it's in really bad shape often by the time we notice. Okay? The liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, they all work together as part of our digestive system and keeping us healthy. So the liver needs to help the body eliminate those things that we are exposed to, that are going into the body, that cannot be effectively utilized, aka assimilated. So if it can't process it out and it can't use it in the body, one of the things the liver will try to do is store it somewhere, and that's where we can start to see lumps and bumps and all sorts of things begin. We can see symptoms of liver issues, digestive issues, waste management issues. If the liver can't process it out in that way, we also will see potentially the skin try to become the elimination organ. In fact, the skin is an elimination organ, but it will go to work to help the liver when the liver can't process these things out. So all of the things that we're talking about, flea and tick products, heartworm preventative, yard chemicals, plugins in your home, fragrance, synthetic fragrance in cleaning products, harsh cleaning products like bleaches and Fabuloso and all of those things, even shampoos that your groomer may be using, are all putting a burden on the liver. So many people say to me, we've never had a problem before. Well, if you remember what I said about building up to 75% damage before we notice, your liver might have had a problem a long time ago and has struggled and tried to manage and tried to do its thing, and it finally reaches a point where it says, I can't take any more. Think of it as the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? It tolerates the burden. It tolerates the weight of all of that, if you will, until it can't. And so that's often why we hear people say, I've used this for years until I had a problem, right? And it is often difficult for people to accept that we've used products safely without incident for years, and now all of a sudden we are seeing all sorts of problems. So be aware that just because you used it last month or last year doesn't mean that it's safe, and doesn't mean that your dog will be okay with the next exposure. It may be an exposure that we can't recover from. I just got a call last week as one example, and there are many, where a client was or has been using flea and tick products for a very long time. She switched brands, and that very first dose she gave of this new product, her dog went into seizures. It wasn't immediate, but shortly thereafter. Can I unequivocally say that it was that product? No. Can we prove it? No. Will the vet think that that's a possibility? Probably not. But do I believe that it was? I do. I absolutely believe these products are dangerous to many of our dogs. Now, some of you might get lucky and your dog lived to a ripe old age and never have an issue. But that's not true for most. So this is why I want us to get proactive in the care we give to the liver. Okay? Now, there are a couple of ways that we can do this. The way that I like to proceed is with a liver cleansing diet that includes a few supplements. The liver cleansing diet is found on my website, welloldcanine.com, and there is a menu item called Guides and Protocols. And you will see in that list of guides that are there, one called Liver Cleanse Diet. Okay? The diet, let me see if I have it pulled up here. Let me turn this piece off. So you should be looking at my screen. My little mouse is moving. So here is our guides and protocols menu. And we'll scroll down. There's a lot of information here. We'd scroll down to this liver and GI cleanse diet that's right here. It will be free for download between today and Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Free to you. And the code for that is liver fall, LIVERFALL, will make this download free to you. So when you download it, you will notice that it is a home cooked diet that we're going to use for 3 to 4 weeks. Okay? 3 weeks is okay. I think 4 is better because we want a full time to help the body heal and to reset and sort of rebalance itself. Now, if you were a kibble feeder, then do it for this period of time, even if your intention is to go back to kibble. At least we're giving the dog this liver care for a period of time, and then we can transition back to whatever you're choosing to feed. Ideally, you would use this as a transition time to move to a healthier food choice if possible. Whether that's a home-cooked meal or a base mix like the Volhard diets that I am feeding my own dogs, many of my clients feed. Again, I'm an affiliate for that. But that is an extremely healthy choice. So my preferences are that you home cook a custom meal and I can help you build that diet for your dog. Or we can do a base mix to which we add our fresh proteins and customize any appropriate supplementation. So you get to make that decision as you're going through this cleanse to get whatever product you need on hand for when the diet is over. Okay? So during the diet, sorry, I thought I had this pulled up already. Let me just look for it. During the diet, we're going to use some supplementation as well. And I think where's my Word document? Oh, it's opening. Hang on a second, and I'll show you the diet. Here we go. See if I can make this a little bigger. I hope this is full screen on your site. This is not intended to be used with a dog that has liver disease. It's a different conversation. So think dogs who have allergies, dogs who may have anxiety, because remember, Chinese medicine tells us that worry and anxiety live in the gut, in the stomach. And I use it also for dogs who have aggression issues. So I use that as a starting point in all of my training cases, or all my wellness cases, when allergies are present or when real GI distress is present. And then I get them on a rotation where they do this in the spring and in the fall. Now, for my clients that are feeding fresh foods, we might not have to follow this diet as much as we follow the supplementation in those seasons. But for those of you who've never done this before, the diet is recommended. Whether you have anxiety, allergies, aggression issues or not, this is also beneficial for the dogs who have had exposure to flea and tick medications, to heartworm preventative, to chemicals in your yard, chemicals in your home, grooming products. All of those things, again, remember, the liver has to do something with. So that's why I recommend it on this rotational, seasonal basis as well. Okay, so if you have a dog that has some other ailment, we can certainly talk about it. Now, as we go through this, if you order the supplements using Dr. Ruth's store, Volhard, or like Full Script, which are with my affiliate links, then I will add you to a private client forum where you can ask questions for the next month for this liver cleanse diet. It's going to be an open dialogue, discussion, Q&A, whatever support you need as your dog goes through this cleanse, okay? But that requires you to order product through my links, and they'll be posted shortly. Okay, so the diet itself is preferred to be fish. Think white fishes. And then we're going to add in some other vegetables and some herbs and things of that nature that help the liver detox. If for some reason your dog cannot have fish, then we want you to forego red meat during this time and move into white meats. Turkey and pork are preferable. They are cooling proteins according to Chinese medicine, which is why I really like this diet to jumpstart my allergy dogs, right? My hot-headed aggression type dogs. So learning more about Chinese medicine, we talk about how heat fuels the body and what foods add heat to the body. That's typically red meats. So if you can't have fish, think turkey or pork. Chicken would be an option if your dog does not have allergies to it, or any allergies for that matter, and is not in an aggressive or highly anxious state. Now, why do I say that? Turkey and pork are cooling proteins. Chicken is an inflammatory protein. It doesn't mean we can't ever eat it. You and I eat it all the time. But for our dogs, it sort of fuels the fire. So if you're already red hot with allergies, or red hot in temper, or red hot because you're stressed out, then chicken's not the right protein at this time. Okay. So then we add in some veggies, right? We add in some veggies and some leafy greens and some cruciferous vegetables. And we can crock pot this. We can put it in a slow roaster at very low simmer temperatures and just let it all cook together like a stew. And then this is what we're going to feed our dog. Okay, so you can see I start to add in some herbs. So garlic is actually detoxifying to the liver. Ginger, another good antioxidant. We can add some herbs in there. If you're an essential oil user, you could add oils at feeding time. Okay, so all of this can come together to make this a really effective recipe. You need to understand that it's a temporary diet for the 3 to 4 weeks that we're talking about. Okay, this is a low sodium diet. We're not adding salt to it. And it's very low fat, very low fat. So if your dog is already on the very lean side, then we may consider adding a source of fat to this diet to add some additional calories and make sure he doesn't lose too much weight. If your dog is overweight to start, getting some weight off is a good idea always. And this is one way to help jumpstart that. This diet is not long-term balanced. Okay, we are going to put some vitamins and minerals and things in there, but this would not be a diet to use long-term. This is temporary. It's intended to be strict, and it is intended to be short-term. Okay? Now, why aren't we doing a raw diet here? Because this way you can make a big batch of it, but also doing a gentle cook is a good transitionary step, even for those of you who want to go raw in the future, because we are basically kickstarting the digestion process for your dog by having the gentle cook take place there. So think of it as almost a pre-digestion of sending that food in. Okay, I covered that. So you need a couple of supplements, and they're available in a couple of different places. We need a vitamin mineral supplement. So the Holistic Total Body Support from Dr. Ruth is excellent. It contains beef and pork glandulars, aka organ meat. So if you know your dog has an allergen to beef or pork, that's not the right vitamin mineral supplement. I'll come back to substitutions in a few minutes. But a good vitamin mineral supplement. Adored Beast Liver Tonic is ideal. It includes milk thistle and dandelion root, so it's going to help support the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. That's why this product is an excellent choice. You could simply use milk thistle. Okay, you could simply use milk thistle. We need a good probiotic. I'm recommending Phytospore, which is available through Dr. Ruth or through my Full Script account. And we need a SAMe. So a lot of people think SAMe and milk thistle are exactly the same. They're really not. There is an article on my website, welloiledcanine.com, that talks about the difference between these two products. They are both very supportive to the liver, but not exactly the same. So at minimum, good vitamin mineral supplement, good liver tonic, good probiotic, and SAMe. During this time, we do not want your dog to have junk food treats. Think single ingredients. That can be dehydrated livers, sweet potato chip, blueberry, raspberry, watermelon, any kind of melon really, cucumbers, apples, all very antioxidant rich when we're in that fruit and veg category. So very helpful to your dog. Not too much. When you start introducing fruits, if you never have, and you start introducing antioxidants, you could move into a situation where too much too fast creates some digestive upset. So we're talking just a few. This diet, when you see it with this recipe, makes enough for a 20-pound dog for a week. So you can double that, you can triple that, you can do whatever you need to do to get to the amount of food you need for your dog. Okay? So you don't have to make food every day. You can make a big batch and you can make a month's worth and go from there, right? So just keep that in mind and then use this section to figure out how much to feed based on your individual dog's weight that he should be. Not the weight he is, but the weight he should be. Okay. Now, what you need to understand about doing a liver cleanse diet is we are sending in good things. For those of you coming off of kibble, especially if we are in a mid to low grade kibble, things are gonna come out, right? And you may see more poop. The milk thistle does that, the antioxidants, the fiber in the veggies, all of those things can contribute to more poop than you've seen currently. And that's okay. We just want a good cleanse. That's kind of the whole point of all of this. If your dog is prone to allergies, you might see a flare-up. I often say it gets worse before it gets better. And this is a part where people sometimes want to bail out. They go, oh my God, you've created allergies in my dog. Detox looks like allergies. It certainly flares up the skin. It can flare up the digestive system with a little bit of diarrhea, stomach upset. But assuming your dog is not truly intolerant to the foods we're feeding, then we really just want to stay the course. We might have to slow things down a little bit, and we might have to use some things that are topically soothing to your dog's skin. That could be as simple as an apple cider vinegar rinse, an Epsom salt soak, a green tea spray, and I use essential oils quite a bit that have very skin soothing, very calming type.
This is a reminder. Mail the pool people.
Alexa's talking to me. Sorry about that. Hold on.
This is a reminder. Mail the pool people.
Okay. So we can soothe all of those things topically. So if you've got essential oils on hand, if you've got access to Epsom salt at the local pharmacy, we've got options. We can also look if you've got something like the CBD Soothe or the CBD Nourish from CBD Dog Health on hand, or the Animal Sense ointment from Young Living, all very excellent topical soothers, okay? If we run into getting digestive upset, we may have to send you to the local store to get some slippery elm, right? When you're thinking about ordering your probiotics, some of them have slippery elm built into it, so we've got some options with those kinds of things as well. If you're an essential oil person, we can use digestive blends on the belly. You can use peppermint oil, spearmint. Lots of things will help calm the digestive upset that's going on. But slippery elm's a good one to have on hand in your first aid kit in general. Keep in mind that your dog's water intake may decrease from the bowl, because we're sending in a very moisture-rich recipe of food. He's going to take in more water while he eats, and therefore may drink a little bit less than he does normally from his bowl. You may also find that your dog eats well for this recipe for a day or two and then's like, not touching it. And that may be because we're starting to experience that digestive upset. And if so, we need to address that and then getting back on the food. We certainly don't want them skipping so many meals that there is a concern about their health, which is why I want you in this this forum, where I can help answer the questions and help you tweak the diet and entice him to continue eating the healthy foods. Okay? Let's see. We talked a little bit about poop, but just keep in mind it may change. It may change its texture over the course of the diet. If you do have a dog that's going into this with allergies already, for example, or digestive issues already, then remember that healing will take some time. If you have had chronic digestive issues for the last year and a half, a week or two is not going to fix it. It's going to begin the healing process, but it's not going to be the final stage. And where a lot of people will have problems is we see things start to look better, dog's feeling better, looks better, more active, eyes are bright, whatever the changes are that are positive, and we go, oh, all done, and we go back to our old ways. That's not necessarily your best option. It really may take up to 6 full months for your dog to heal if we've had these chronic allergies. Now, did I say we could go back to a kibble diet? Yes. I would love for all of you to be on fresh food diets. I just know that's probably an unrealistic expectation for me to have. But if your dog is unwell, right? If your dog is unwell on kibble, then I really would encourage you to not go back. To let's continue this healing process and figure out what the next steps would be after this cleanse. So I covered this a little bit at the beginning about doing spring and fall. This is offered to my clients, again, who call with allergies and aggression and anxiety. So I do it with them whenever they call. And then I get them on the spring and fall season cycle if possible. Now, I've mentioned in here the possibility of including a vaccinosis detox as well. Some of you may want to do this, and if you want to ask questions about whether you should or shouldn't, feel free to post them. Feel free to, as you go along, ask that question if you're in my private client group. Don't start it the first day you do this diet. Get about 3 weeks in and then follow the addition of the vaccinosis detox. Okay? Why? Because I don't want to do too many changes at one time. I want to give your dog's body a chance to adjust, get the other supplements we talked about going in, and then add another one. So the vaccinosis detox is pretty simple. Now, if your dog is truly got some known issues associated with receiving a vaccine, or something that I've seen, let me rephrase. If we've got seizures, autoimmune, a recent reaction to a vaccine, any of those kinds of things, don't do this. Let's talk first. We may want to do it, but we may need to control when and how that happens. If your dog is healthy, to your eyes is healthy, and has had vaccines and you've never done a detox, then this is probably okay to do. And we simply get the Adored Beast Rebalance product that has thuya and silicea in it. And we dose it according to the bottle. It's basically a dose based on your dog. I don't think it's based on weight at all. I think it's just per dropper. But you'll follow the instructions from Adored Beast. And it's a 10-day protocol. You give it every day for 10 days and then you take a break. For some dogs, if they truly have what we would call vaccinosis, we may repeat that cycle either after the break or on a monthly basis for a little while. If you don't want the Rebalance product, then you could order homeopathic remedies directly, thuya, silicea, and then Lyssin, Lyssin. So if your dog has had rabies vaccine recently or ever, and you've never done a detox, this might be a consideration, especially if you have some of these chronic conditions going on. If you're going to use homeopathic remedies directly, meaning not in this pre-designed protocol, meaning you order the little vials of product, there's a separate set of instructions that would need to be shared. Okay, so substitutions. Dr. Ruth's Total Body Support alternatively could be Volhard Endurance. Those are my two recommendations. There may be other vitamin supplement brands out there that are acceptable. These are my two preferred brands, and I'm not going to say I will research products for you, but if you have one, I will give you feedback on it if you ask. And then for the liver tonic, you could, again, just get a tincture of milk thistle, which frankly, you should all have in your first aid kit anyway. Everybody needs milk thistle in the first aid kit. And the article on my website will explain a little bit more about that. If you can't find Phytospore, it is on Dr. Ruth's store. It is also in full script, but sometimes out of stock because it's an extremely popular product. Megaspore might be an option. Megaspore is significantly more potent probiotic than Phytospore. So Phytospore has 4 billion CFU. Megaspore has 50 billion CFU. So you might try Megaspore, but not use a whole capsule at a time, especially for the small dogs. If you have a teeny tiny dog and he's healthy and all things are normal, then we might just move over to like Phytos Flora in the Volhard store, or Gut Soothe, or what's the other one? Healthy Gut. No, I think that's their digestive enzymes. But there's a couple of probiotic options in the Volhard store from Adored Beast as well. Phytos Flora is also 4 billion CFU. So it is more aligned to Phytospore. And then we talked about Lyssin as part of the vaccine detox. So when you download this, you'll see a list of all of my, I shouldn't say all, many of them, the links, and specifically Dr. Ruth, Full Script, or Volhard is, there's Volhard, I need to move that up, where you need to be, okay? If you're worried about true intolerances to food, which are not the same as an allergy to food, meaning the food is not creating a histamine response, it's just creating digestive upset, that's an intolerance, not an allergy, then consider taking the Glacier Peaks test, right? There are other really great test opportunities in innovative labs. And if your dog's gut is truly jacked up and we've tried everything else, then we might move into animal biome. But those would be conversations I'd want to have with you before I guided you. So that's the cleansing diet, ideally 3 to 4 weeks worth of administration. If you're not ready to do that, some of you are scared, hesitant, worried, whatever, then at least get a bottle of milk thistle. The tinctures are easier to just stir into their food, but you could get a capsule and open it and stir in their food. In your first aid kit, the tinctures are better, in my opinion, because if your dog is not eating in the future and you need to do something in an urgent way because there's been a chemical exposure, at least getting the drops into his mouth as you head to the ER is better than nothing. Okay, so I like the tinctures better than the capsules. But at least milk thistle for 3 to 4 weeks, and then stop, and then do it again next year, unless you have a chemical exposure between then and now. And I will also say that I follow HeartGard. I use ivermectin, but the active ingredient in HeartGard is ivermectin. If I give a dose of ivermectin, I will do that on day 1, and then day 2 through 9, I guess. So for 7 days, I use milk thistle as an aftercare protocol. If you are still using flea and tick topicals and or orals, I beg you to stop. Go read the resources that are on my website. Don't believe me? Go read them from the internet, from the FDA. The FDA is actually black boxed Simparico, Credello, Bravecto, NexGard. There's a warning on the box now that says these are risky. They're very risky. And for the FDA to put that warning is a huge step. And most of us, including the vets, just ignore it and go, we've used it for years. Please don't do that anymore. Just stop those products and move to, well, when you feed a fresh food diet, got a little garlic in it, the body's healthy. The body's going to make a terrible host for parasites in general. If you treat your yard with diatomaceous earth and Wondercide, you're not going to have those problems in your yard. I've used no flea and tick products for the last at least 5 or 6 years. None. And we don't have a problem. Some environments do. I get it. But in those cases, maybe you use an essential oil spray. There are recipes on my website. If you're interested in essential oils, I'm going to teach more about that soon. If you're not ready to jump down that path of the essential oil recipes, and here's some products if you wanted to order, fine. And I need to look at Plant Therapy and see if they have a pre-done flea and tick spray. They might, and I'll come back and let you know. But there's another product called Kin & Kind. It is a brand, Kin, K-I-N, and Kind, K-I-N-D. And from my research, they are excellent products. And you can find them in my Amazon store. And you just spray your dog. If you're going to take a walk, you're going to be out hiking, those kinds of things, you can use those products to keep fleas and ticks off of your dog. And then we'll have more discussions later about what if you find a tick on your dog? What can you do? And I know people worry about like the Lyme disease. And so we'll come back and we'll talk about those things later, because it's a problem, a risk, certainly, but I don't think it's as scary as people think that it may be. And I think your risk is far lower than you may realize. And so we can educate on what we can do to prevent those things. And if you find one, what to do next. So I got off track, and I'm sorry about that. Let me close this window. So I think, one other thing that I'll tell you. So I don't know why I can't close this window. There I am again. Um, with the milk thistle, an alternative, if you are an oily person, meaning you use essential oils, then Ledum, Ledum, essential oil is an option. You would apply 1 drop of that oil over your dog's liver, which is on the right side under the rib cage. So you just put a drop on his side every day for the 21 to 28 days. If you are a homeopathic person, you can also order Ledum in a homeopathic form, and you could use that instead. Okay? I'm not going to get into dosing homeopathics at this time, though I can teach you if you need to know. So those are 2 options there. I also really like the essential oil blend from Young Living called Release. Also applied over the liver or diffused. Remember I said the liver holds the emotion anger. In fact, I'm not sure I did say that up front, but it does. And so that's why I really do some detox work on my dogs with aggression cases. And we want to help purge that anger, those quick snap type reactions that our dogs often have. And so again, it's 1 drop of that essential oil applied over the liver for 28 days. When I was first beginning to use essential oils, emotions was the key thing that I was learning about. Taking them into this whole digestive and wellness category was not yet on my radar. It is now. So I use essential oils for everything. But I did the 1 drop of Release over my own rib cage every day. And I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. It was an experiment. And that was at a time stress was super high for me. And I'll say that I was a quick, hot-headed, just tell you what I thought. And didn't really think a whole lot about not telling you what I thought. Anyway, I used it every day. And people into the process who knew me very well, some family members and some people who worked for me basically said, I don't know what is different about you, but keep it up. We like it. And they recognized that I made a change, it was a profound change, but it was so subtle, and I only did it through essential oils. I mean, that was the only thing I changed. And they made a recognition that I had released some level of emotion and hot-headedness, shall we say. And so I was a believer at that point, 100% seeing those things work. So again, that's another opportunity to care for the liver. And they basically said to me, mine was jacked up, right? Was not eating the best of foods and didn't have a lot of supplementation that I needed and all sorts of things. And it was surfacing through my emotional response to things and the way I responded to things. And so in that moment, it became part of my discussion on every aggression case I have. Now, do all of my training clients accept that? No, they do not. I keep at them. I keep trying to drive it. But essential oils scare a lot of people, right? They just do. And so I have to come at it from some different ways from time to time. But we'll talk more about essential oils as we go. So that's all I have for today. And I want to thank you for coming. Remember, if you go shopping with Dr. Ruth for your supplements through Volhard, who also has, excuse me, also has Adored Beast in their supplement line, or full script. So full script does not include Adored Beast, but everything else we need could be done through alternatives. So one of those three categories, you go shopping, you will get added to a private client forum for a month. And then you can ask questions about the diet and your experiences and the things that you're seeing that way. So I also have two containers of Phytos Flora to give away. And so what I would ask you to do to enter to win that one of those Phytos Flora is share this video when you see it with your friends and family and tell them, hey, you're learning more about natural wellness for your dog. And tag the well-oiled canine. So tag my page in your post. And so I should then be able to see that. And I'll add everybody who does it into a drawing that will take place on Monday of next week. So I'm going to give you through Sunday night. But everybody who does that will be entered in a drawing. And I'll choose two names and we'll give away those Phytos Flora. Okay, so thanks for coming, and let me know how I can help you.